友達は嘘をつかない。
Alright, it looks kind of good. Okay, let's see. First card is Power Strike is the same as the serial card, single target, and the second card is kind of special. Wave, okay? Damage dealt minus 12% per enemy on battlefield. I think I'm reading it right. Minus because it got for 50% of all enemies. If it's increased 12%, that's just insane card, because if it's increased 12%, okay, on every enemy on the battlefield, that's kind of insane, because 450 on all enemies, she's gonna deal harder than a lot of AoE ultimates. She's gonna hit insanely hard. I think it's minus 12%, or is that should be a single enemy. Okay, because 450, like, at least if you go to like PvP and she hits with that AoE, okay, 36% increase because you got like 3 opponents, she's gonna annihilate every single character in just, she's just gonna one shot everyone. Okay, so that's just insane. I think it's minus 12%, that kind of makes sense. Okay, so that just healing card is just pretty nice. She deals 70-80% in on one enemy and heals 40% of the damage dealt. It's kind of like the Tormiel card, but it's just single target instead of AoE. Okay, and that's kind of good. Like, increase the hero's damage dealt against enemies 40%. Remaining HP decreases by 10% for each skill use. So technically, if you attack with her, okay, every single card you use, enemy decreases just 10% of remaining HP. Not all HP, just remaining HP. Now, if it's all enemies, it's pretty insane. But I don't think it's all enemy. I think it's the character she like hits against. Okay, so yeah, let's see. If it's all enemies, that's sick. I mean, you just use 2 cards at first and they just get decreased like 20% of the remaining HP, which is as good as a freaking corrosion. Okay, that's unless they just remove the debuff, that is. And it doesn't have any time limit, I mean turn and all, so if that stacks, that's it. Alright, it's my boy. That looks kind of good. Better. Alright, so his first card is Infect 360 on one enemy. What? That's not the... Okay, one... That should be AoE actually. I mean, 360. If that's AoE, it would be good. Anyway, if I think it's 360 is like the red Arthur card. But it's the recovery skill block skills, it just infects on one enemy for 2 turns. It should be like 220 and infect, 220 infect for 2 turns, 360 for 2 turns. They kind of call it this. Alright, the second one is the green Escanor card. Okay, so his ultimate is like the counter melee with 2 stun. It's kind of stronger than counter melee. Yeah, with 2 turns of stun. It's pretty alright card. Looks pretty nice. Right, so if the hero infects damage on an enemy using single target attack, He got 1, 2. Okay, he got 2 single target attacks. I think that's if the hero deals damage on enemy, single target applies effect, decrease attack related stat for 30% for counters. Sick. Alright, so he deals 2 single target card. He got and single target ultimate. I don't think ultimate works. If ultimate also works, that's that's pretty nice. But yeah, 30% attack related stat for 2 turns, that's pretty sick. So you're getting like these debuffs, which is pretty insane. Is there a debuff? I don't think it's a debuff. I think it's a permanent debuff. She deals higher damage. It's not a debuff, but that's a debuff. The thing she's going to be remaining is pretty cool. So that's a debuff. I don't think it's a great debuff though. And that's another debuff. So you need debuff removal. That infects, okay? That doesn't like block recovery skills. It infects, so it just blocks your healing, like auto healing, like lifesteal. So yeah, you need healing character who can heal as well as remove the debuffs. Very, very important. Alright, next one. Inflicts damage for 50 and prevents move filling. Okay, all gauge filling. So 450, one single target is pretty nice. And inflicts flood on all enemies. That's sick. Okay. That's all obviously a new card. Okay, 250 on all enemies. And flood, you know how strong flood can be. So his ultimate is Saver on all enemies. It's pretty nice. I hope his crit damage is pretty high. Alright, so here's something. Another world. If an ally HP falls below 50% due to enemy skill use, they will have their stat decreased. Enemy stat decreased, right? 20%. No, I guess. Yeah, I hope that's enemies. They will have. Okay, let's think it's enemies. And ultimate move gets sealed. Yes, and applies 1 superpower, which grants immunity to all damage for 1. Okay. Whoa. Okay, so superpower grants immunity to all damage. All damage. So you can't kill that character with ultimate. And if you heal again and decreases the HP like less than 50% again, they're like that's insane. Does that work more than once? Yeah, plus or like on all ally you got, and it doesn't work on him, I believe, and an ally. So just one ally, like specifically just one ally, I guess. It's not bad. Okay, we really have to see. So I got it. I hope I got it. So he applies superpower, okay, when like enters in the battlefield just once, and all allies. Okay, so I'm not so sure if he uses that on himself or only on his allies. It's not so sure about that, but I know that much, that when ally HP, okay, decreases like less than 50%, everyone's like stat, okay, decreased by 20%. Ally stat, not enemy stat, and they cannot get the alt move. Okay, they are gonna be immune to damage though. Got that much. Okay, what if they get one shot though? Does that work? Okay, that needs a big explanation later on. If activated during enemy's attack turn, that's most of the time gonna happen. The effect will disappear at the end of following another attack. Okay, so if enemy attacks like uses the first skill and you get less than 50% the HP, then it triggers. But if they like use cards, okay, and that triggers on the last attack, so it's kind of useless, right? I mean, if it triggers when enemy attacks, okay, and the effect just goes away after you, like after ally's turn, attack turn, so you gonna have that 20% decrease stat. Oh, that's very confusing. Gem inflicts 450 on one enemy and removes the um, green marlin. Yeah. Gases stance on enemy inflicts damage. And, okay, that's Elizabeth single target. And weak point on one enemy. It's the what? Diomeli ultimate. Yeah, you just debuff your opponent and just one shot this move. Oh, okay. At the beginning of the ally turn, randomly applies direct hit on two enemies for one turn. Enemies with direct hit take 40% more damage and become poisoned for one turn when attacked by collab heroes. So by collab heroes means these four heroes are also Attack on Titan collab and stuff. I have to see that. I'll just check with Aaron, I guess, later. For now, I'll just take these four characters. It's not like anyone's gonna use it in the first place. Alright, so the thing is, it poisons, okay? And poison is not like corrosion, it just happens out of nowhere. You have to deal damage, then you're gonna poison. So it doesn't end there, okay? Poison usually stays for 3 turns. I think it's gonna stay for 1 turn, and they're gonna take 4% more, so 40% more damage, and gonna poison for 1 turn. So if you can remove the debuff, does that work? And it changes, like every turn it changes, okay? It's just for 1 turn. It activates one turn in battle, okay? So it does like every turn you get the, like, whenever you attack, okay, you get the turn, he hits that direct hit for on 2 enemies, random enemies. Yeah, it's like chaos. It's like Kyo. Yeah, it's like the when you get your turn, you just debuff on the enemy. It's just like that, but it doesn't stack. It just goes away. Next turn, you just do this again and again and again. So if your enemy remove the debuff, it doesn't really work because you just gonna keep debuffing them again and again and again. That's insane. 40% on 2 specific enemies. Random enemies. Oof, they're kind of confusing, and yeah, you need debuff removal, I believe, and that's quite insane. Yeah, that's insane. Let's see when they come. Do I recommend going for it? I do, actually, I do, cause I'm going for them. These cards are pretty insane. I will be pulling for them probably the moment they come. And yeah, that looks pretty good. I mean, wave, power strike, and just look at that attack latest stat decrease for 2 turns. You just attack on 2 enemies and they just get decreased. You can just attack on 3 enemies, which is cards, and 3 of them are gonna get 30% decrease attack related stat, which is pretty sick. It's not just attack stat, by the way, attack related stat for 2 turns, which is good. So Yeah, that's even better than the that Esterosa commandment, because you're not gonna get debuffed, right? Yeah, that's pretty sick.